This is a First and 10 Monday on Coaching Football with Brian Clee. So in this First and 10 game plan, we are going to talk about some play action passing really out of a Flexbone attack. Twitter coach passed this along about a month ago and just wanted to share this out, some of my ideas of how to attack defenses using Flexbone offense, but some extra motion out on the perimeter to give the defense a different look that they maybe haven't prepared for. So first off, talking about field versus boundary, the motion the coach asked the question about was a motion by the Z receiver over there. And on the field side, the reason a Flexbone offense might do this, ultimately, if you're adding something to your offense, it should have a purpose. So a Flexbone offense might do this. Number one, it messes with the leverage out here. The corner probably tightens up in a lot of situations there, and they have almost probably become a cover two type look, and this free safety might feel like he needs the leverage there more to protect the post. And it might be really good for setting up a crack and an arc for something possibly like midline triple. So the play side tackle with veer release there, the guard also veer releases. They're doubling back to the will linebacker there, scoop and hinge by that backside tackle. Quarterback steps off the midline, fullback hits it. He's the first option. We're reading the 3 for the dive. And this, for us, midline triple is always a no motion for the pitch guy, because the pitch happened quite quickly. Right there, somewhere right around behind the guard. And you might be getting some extra leverage out there. Free safety still running free, because we got dive pitch. Free safety's not accounted for, but we do have the ball up inside, and we might have really good leverage to set the edge on the force defender there. Anytime you get a one-on-one between your best back, which typically your slots are pretty fast guys in a Flexbone type attack, and defender, you're in a good spot offensively. To the boundary, even more interesting, especially against 4-2-5 structures, probably playing some version of cover 2 over there. So now you have less leverage on the perimeter here. So again, they could crack the deep safety, arc to that corner, and now we could run whatever we want over here. We could a midline triple again, probably the best look. Outside release. That one, we're also going to arc release. Keep a 3-3 ideally as a guard. Center climbs, scoop and hinge. Again, step off. Dive key, pitch key. We still always read that one. Now the quarterback's anticipating a pull and pitch against that look. Until that guy is on the center, he's the read on midline. So really, we want probably a 2-2-eye over there, as opposed to maybe a 1 on the center. So it depends on what you call 1. And then again, no motion out of the pitch back, and we're reading dive pitch. We're anticipating the pitch here, and again, we're just changing the leverage on the perimeter. So that's where it might fit into a Flexbone attack. Now we'll talk about the play action game. Before we do that, just again, especially for any younger coaches out there, make sure if you're adding a formation, it fits into something you're already doing. You're using a blocking scheme and a play concept that you've already been using if you're adding a formation after your base formation. And again, make sure those concepts are concepts that you've actually used before. So one concept in the Flexbone offense I've coached in the past few years that we use is levels. So first off, we'll go over the routes. Backside, we would almost always have a post here. If that backside corner, if he stays outside leverage and doesn't stay tight enough to that post, which he really should be outside leveraging on top of it, but if we feel like we can get behind that corner and the safety is paying more attention to the twin side, we'll come back to throw that backside post. Front side, the routes. So we've been working to maybe crack that outside backer, and he's really become conscious heavy of that crack, or he's overplaying the pitch game, and he's becoming hard to block out on the perimeter. Play action pass might be really good. The Z receiver here would have a pivot route, and he's going to adjust that route. We'll talk about it. He'll adjust that route based on that curl flat defender. The Y here is going to work the deep clear out route. I'd have him run a little bit of a flag since he's now inside. Normally he's outside when we're in our base flexbone look. Pass pro, we are a full slide team. We were as a flexbone team, we still are. And then no motion. He's going to continue out into the flats. So there's our levels, 1, 2, 3. Quick play action fake. Fullback takes C gap. Quarterback drops off. And now what we're looking for. The main coaching point is adjusting that curl flat defender. That curl flat defender, the route is going to be as deep as he tells the Z receiver to make the route. So if that curl flat defender steps up at all to play the pitch, or he's fighting through what he thinks is a block to start with, the route's going to be relatively flat because the quarterback can throw it over his head. He came up to pitch, it's wide open. If that curl flat defender ends up dropping off, we're going to make the route deeper. If he drops off, we're going to make the route deeper. Obviously, we don't want to end up at the same level as our teammate on the flag there, but by coming inside and giving that little pivot, that's going to time it up. We're going to be on different levels, hence the name of the play, and we're making sure that when we check this down, it's a glorified pitch, that's all it is, but when we check this down, there's a lot of room for this guy who's used to getting the ball on a pitch and making moves out on the edge. There's a lot of room for him to make something happen. And obviously, if the free and the corner don't leverage that real well on the flag, we'll hit that first. But for the most part, you're calling levels to try and get that Z receiver a catch there. So now maybe that outside backer is really conscious of that, and he's playing the curl flat. So now we're going to go verts. Same thing backside is post. Same pass pro. Full slide. And we like full slide as a veer team because, like, right now, to that MAC linebacker there, that looks like inside veer. That's what that looks like, especially on the play side. Coach up the hat level of the tackle and the guard, especially on that side. Fullback stepping, quick mesh, no motion, continue out into the flats. And now that outside backer is really conscious of the levels route. So we're going to go right down the middle with the verts, get a little width over there, and we're just looking, does that free wander out too far? If so, we're gonna hit the post. And if he's really good at all, if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, stay on top of it. Stay on top and inside, and then the corner on top and outside. So now we throw opposite of how that outside backer ends up helping out. If he squeezes, which he really shouldn't, that's the middle linebacker's job. If he squeezes that at all, we throw the outside route. It should be there to the Y. If he widens and plays underneath of that, we're going to throw the inside route, because if you're playing us and that MAC linebacker, he's got to be really good to distinguish, is that play action pass or is that midline triple or inside veer, where both those guys are down blocking right now. That's really hard to distinguish, especially for a high school kid, and he's seen a lot of running that night. So that's how we feel like we might be able to get it. Don't love it against one high, because they really got three deep defenders to match the three verts that are coming at them. And that's why we'll talk about verts and some under concepts is what we call it. So first off, verts, we could switch it on the backside here, and we probably would. So he's going to come down like he's cracking, and then go vertical. The slot receiver will wheel on play action wise, we're going to put this on the back side now. So open play fake here, our full slide going on, pull back in C gap, and now Z under's just telling the offense, the receivers out here, the outside guys running the under route. So work a kind of post seam type deal there, and then the Z come under there. So now we're putting that corner. I get he's going to follow the motion. Yeah, that's going to happen on all this stuff. He's going to keep leverage and outside of what was ever the number one receiver. That corner is completely irrelevant in this passing concept, and especially if we put this to the field against a one high structure, we might end up with a lot of space for these guys, and then these guys coming also to the field. So first off, we're gonna let our quarterback know where we want to look based on down and distance and a couple other things. But on the verts side, what happens a lot, you even see it at the college level, is that corner ends up squeezing that post a little bit. This down defender ends up, all right, something's coming to me. I've also got play action. He's got to consider that. But even if he distinguishes, all right, this slot widened, I got to match that in the run game and keep outside leverage. But if he plays hard through it, that wheel's going to slip behind him. A lot of times those corners squeeze post. Again, you even see it at the college level. And we're ultimately thrown opposite of where that corner does. We're assuming, and I've got game film of this, the outside backer, the force guy, he's not going to sync with the pass like he's supposed to. We're going to put that corner in a one-on-one situation. Coming from the backside, I don't think you can ever full field read something as a Flexbone team. You're spending too much time working reads and stuff in the run game. But from the underside, a lot of times the inside linebackers are stepping up. There's a huge hole in the middle of the field here for the Z receiver to operate. So we'd be throwing opposite of what that free safety does. He should play and defend this post. Corner should be squeezing that post on the backside. That post is to clear both those guys out. The inside linebacker step up because it's play action, and it should be a real easy throw and potentially catch and run. Because if we're throwing to the Z on that under there, or that crossing route, whatever you want to call it, if we're throwing to him, well, this down safety or this outside backer, this force player, this curl flat guy, he's not seeing that coming. He's got the wheel, he's got play action. It should be a catch, turn, and run, and he might even get his buddies at slot and split end over there to be lead blockers in front of him. And then the same concept, but now with the Y running the under. So it would come down to, all right, who's your better ball player? Is it this split end, or is it this Z receiver, or maybe slot back? And that might be a reason you put this in as a Flexbone team. You got three guys that are really good wide receivers. Why one of them are not already playing slot and getting some touches in the run game, I guess I don't know that. I don't know why you would do that, but maybe you want to get three really good receivers on the field. So if the Y is the better receiver and I want him to be the guy catching and running the under, we're going to call Y under instead. So again, verts side, we could go straight up verts instead of switching it. We're going to go full slide again, play action, pull back in C gap, and now the Z is going to run that seam route. The Y is running the under, and we're looking for the same thing. What's the corner do on this side? All right, does he continue to split them both? Well, we got leverage, especially if that free is concerned with the post on the twin side. We got leverage to hit the inside receiver. If that corner squeezes the inside receiver, favors them a little bit, throw the ball to the sideline where only the split end can go catch it. And again, this guy, especially against this look, he's probably stepping up on play action. There's nothing telling him to get out wider. So that might be the reason you switch between the verts with the switch and the regular verts over there. And then again, the underside, we get both the inside linebackers to step up. The down safety's worried about play action, either in the run or kind of sinking with the number 2 receiver there. Should be able to hit this, catch it, turn and run. So now talking about the same pass concepts against 2 high. As I talked about, backside post, we're playing the post, and it becomes, all right, what's this down safety, this deep safety, how's he keying that guy? We might get it if he's, once he gets this, his eyes go inside, he's helping with some sort of cutback type deal. So that backside post is happening most of the time on the backside of everything that we're doing. And we got the no motion because you're using motion out there. You can't have 2 guys in motion. We're full slide, same deal, full slide, play action, come up, full slide, play action, pull back out and C gap. And now the levels here, we're running the same deal. We've got the pivot route, we'll adjust on the flat defender. And then we've got the flag route. We got the no motion, continues into the flats as the check down. And again, it all comes down to that curl flat force defender. If he's stepping up at all, throw the mid-level route over his head, because the corner, most likely, and the free, if this is a 2 high structure, they're probably working to inside outside leverage that deep route, and they're going to let the curl flat guy play the curl flat. Well, if he's stepping up and playing what really is the flat route, not the whole shot there, throw it over his head. If this guy sinks off, keep running the route deeper. And then again, glorified option pitch. Verts, like verts a little bit more here, because we might be able to hit middle of the field. If this free's coached up at all, he's going to keep inside leverage on that. But by using this motion, we might be able to manipulate things and change it where the Z runs to that middle of the field. If we can't keep if the free safety, and the defense can't keep leverage on that, we really like that. And then that's primarily to kind of clear the corner out. And again, we come down to number 1. How's the free been playing the motion? If he's been coming down and kind of bringing it and working real hard on crack replays, oh, we slip past the crack block, go to the middle of the field, and we're going to bang our head on the end zone, on the goalpost when we're in the end zone. If that free's not, most likely this stud outside linebacker, he should be working on one of these, textbook wise, he should be working outside. So he's walling and playing that number 1 receiver late, and the middle linebacker's playing number 2. Then we got, again, the check down as an option there. But we're calling that because we think we can get to the middle of the field there. We think that safety's overplaying the run game and not keeping inside leverage, which is crucial in a 2 high structure. So now verts over here. Verts and the Z under. We'll go with the regular verts over here. Most likely, if these guys, again, we could still be running zone dive over here. That's a thing. So if either of these guys are being a little bit lazy against the run game, we might have something I really like, even if we're trying. And we wouldn't give this guy an option to like go inside. He could stem his route a little bit, I suppose, but he can't like run a post because the post is coming from the other side. So most likely, neither of these are actually really viable passing routes, just because schematically, at least, the defense should be able to match and leverage those decently and play both of those. We got our full slide, and then we're working the Z is coming under, and we're again threatening that safety on that post. That safety has to keep inside leverage. I'm assuming that he does. So he keeps inside leverage on the post. The corner maybe squeezes it and is dropping off some. Again, we're calling the under because these guys still got to respect the fact that we could have zone dive coming at him, and they're stepping up. And now I really like our throw it to that under, that crossing route coming from the Z receiver. If he is the better receiver out here as opposed to the Y, you're calling the under for him. You throw it to him. I think he's catching that. He's turning and running. He's probably got 2 lead blockers because both the corner and the deep safety there are worried about staying on top and inside if they're running some sort of too high coverage, whatever it is over there, whether it's cover 2, I guess the corner would be working outside then, or if it's some sort of quarters cover 4 type deal. And then the same thing. Now switching it is what I guess I would call all the time against too high, and actually that I drew that up. That really illustrates by just running the vertical routes, that's relatively easy to cover. So now if we switch it, they crack, wheel it out. Now this is one of those deals where a lot of times that corner, especially at the high school level, a little bit at the college level, that corner will drift a little bit inside and squeeze that for a second. If that happens, a lot of times this wheel route, there will be a little lane to throw it over the top. And this deep safety is going to stay on top and inside if he's any good at all. So by running the switch version of verts where we're switching our routes, we're wheeling the slot out, I think maybe that becomes a viable play action option now again based off what that corner does. That's been our experience with it, and that's why we like running wheels so much. Anytime you're switching routes, you're making the defense have to actually honor their rules, actually play their zone coverage, whatever it happens to be. So we got our full slide there, fullback C-gap, play action. Again, so the only reason you'd have both of these, both a Z under and a Y under, is if you want to decide which of those receivers are getting the touch. Most likely, if you're a Flexbone team, you're picking one or the other. Either the Z's your guy, or the Z's running that post to occupy that free safety, staying on top and inside. Cornerback sinking and playing his quarter or whatever. And now the Y vertical for a couple steps, let the Z pass, and run the under. If that split end is your better receiver, you're only putting this receiver out here to get a different leverage for the crack and maybe midline triple and whatnot. Have the Y run the under. Again, corner and deeper off. Linebackers are stepping up because they got to honor the fact that zone dive might be coming. Throw it over his head, catch it, and run. Hopefully you got both the slot and the split end essentially being blockers. It's really a glorified screen that looks like you're throwing downfield. So some concepts for passing with a short motion out of a Flexbone attack. A little bit of an oxymoron, but something fun to talk about. And again, make sure the concept fits into something that you're already doing offensively. Make sure that the plays that you run are still viable out of a different formation besides your base formation, and have some fun.
If you think it would be fun to participate in a 1st and 10 Monday in some way, shape, or form, whether that is you presenting an offensive formation or two and how you would go about game planning against how I would try to defend that, and I'm going to exchange some ideas about how we're going to game plan to defend that offensive concept and those formations, or if you want to flip that script and you want to have me present an offensive formation or two and some offensive concepts and how we're going to game plan for how you would go about trying to defend us, and you're exchanging your ideas about how to put together a defensive game plan to stop that, that'd be great. There's my contact information. Hit me up on Twitter, leave a comment down below, or shoot me an email.